Welcome to my bedroom. I'm not used to having people in here, so now that you are in here, go ahead and sit down, get comfortable. I'm gonna start changing clothes because you saw the thumbnail and you read the title and you know what we're talking about. We're talking about EDC clothing. So for those that are not aware, this is a complete EDC consideration series. This is just one episode of it. I've done multiple episodes before this one. We'll do multiple after this one. So be sure that you're subscribed so that you can be a part of all of the episodes. So as far as concealed carry goes, your clothing plays a huge part in actually keeping your gun concealed. Now, that goes even beyond making sure that you're not printing. Based off of what you're wearing, people are going to peg you out as, are you a gun owner? Are you carrying a gun? You know who I'm talking about. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down my general outfits and then I'm going to kind of talk about them. Starting off, 99% of the time, I'm going to have on a pair of blue jeans. We're not going to dive too much into that. Jeans are a given. They don't draw much attention. They support the gun pretty well as long as you've got a good belt. So that is the first thing that we're going to talk about is a good belt. Make sure that you are using a sturdy belt that is designed to carry a gun. It makes a huge difference in the way the gun feels as you're carrying it and the way that it conceals. If you're wearing just an old floppy leather belt that you've had for 30 years, time to get a new belt. So make sure that you get a belt that is specifically designed to carry a gun. This one is from Core Essentials. It's a buffalo leather belt. I went with leather because I like a little bit of class in my life. The next thing that I'm wearing pretty much 99% of the time is going to be a t-shirt. I typically go with solid colored t-shirts just because I'm trying not to draw much attention. I can also get away with wearing the same couple of t-shirts every week and nobody pays attention to it. They don't notice because there's not any big logos. But again, mainly just because it draws less attention and there's nothing that screams, hey, I'm carrying a gun. Now, a few things that you need to be cognizant of when choosing a shirt to wear. First is going to be the fit. You don't want anything that is too tight because obviously you don't want to be printing excessively. You also don't want anything that is ginormous because you don't want to have to clear too much fabric when, or if, God forbid, if you need to draw your weapon. The other things that you need to look at is going to be the colors. So darker colors are going to tend to conceal better because they're going to hide the wrinkles a little bit better with it being a darker color. Another thing that you can look at is going to be the material. Typically like a more cotton style shirt is going to conceal a little bit better, as opposed to like your sporty, you know, slicker silk, polyester style shirts. Those are going to print really, generally they're going to print pretty good if you don't have the body or the build to support that. Obviously, if you've got a big old chest, then that shirt's going to hang over it without any problems, and you can wear whatever t-shirt you want to wear. But for most people, a more cotton material, darker colors, and a little bit looser fitting is going to be the way to go. Today's video sponsor is Aura. Well, Aura is an online protection service and parental control and all of your online needs. Now, the most amazing thing they do, and the reason that I use Aura, is because they make sure that my identity does not end up in the wrong hands. So you've got these people called data brokers. They're constantly searching the internet for any of your information they can get, yours or your loved one's information. If you don't believe me, just go online, Google your name, and see what information pulls up. Now, these data brokers, they find all of this information, whether it be bank account records, medical records, family members, social media passwords, all of that stuff. They're finding this information. They're selling it to anybody that might want it. Whether that be somebody that wants to hack into your social media, hack into your bank account, they want to steal your money, they want to steal your identity. Now, what Aura does, they use an online protection service that is 24/7. It's a software that constantly searches the internet for this information that might end up in the wrong hands. Once they find it, they take that information back and they give it to you and they notify you of it so that you know just how much of your information is actually out there that is possibly ending up in the wrong hands. The FBI reported $10.3 billion worth of loss due to cybercrime. So if you want to make sure that you're protected from all of this, then you can go to aura.com/overalls, or you can go to the link pinned in the top of the comment section or pinned in the description. I'm trying to make this easy for you. That's 3 different options because I really believe in what Aura is doing. It's a fantastic service that they're providing. And since you're my viewer, then they are giving you a 2-week free trial. Like I said, aura.com/overalls, top of the comment section or in the description. That's a 2-week free trial, full membership benefits. They're not giving you just a little taste. They care about you so much, they're giving you access to full membership benefits for 2 weeks, and you can opt out at any time. Again, aura.com/overalls, or use the link pinned in the top of the comment section or pinned in the description. Cannot thank Aura enough. Back to the video. One thing that I have found as far as concealing better in a t-shirt, I mentioned wrinkles. So wrinkles actually help you conceal, because printing is all that is basically creating wrinkles in your shirt. So if you can induce some wrinkles yourself, it's going to help hide the wrinkles that the guns are causing. Now the way that I do that is by wearing a wife beater underneath my t-shirt. What that does is basically causes the t-shirt that I'm wearing to sort of catch on to the wife beater, and it will cause some wrinkles. Again, it's not perfect and you can't get away with it a whole bunch, but it does work just a little bit. And I found that sometimes when I need just a little bit something to help me conceal, typically throwing on a wife beater. Now I don't put the wife beater over top of the gun because I don't want to have to draw 2 shirts. So I took the wife beater behind the gun, and then my t-shirt is over top of it. But that's something that you might want to try out. Try wearing a wife beater underneath your t-shirt, and it may cause your t-shirt to stick to it a little bit, cause some wrinkles, help conceal your gun a little bit better. Now, other shirts. We're going to talk about Hawaiian shirts and your other summertime button-ups. They're typically going to be a good option because they're going to usually be a little bit looser fitting, and a lot of them are going to have patterns. So that's 2 things that are a huge ally when it comes to concealed carry. Typically, the 4 things that you're looking for is going to be patterns, fit, texture, and layers. Those are going to be the 4 things that you really want to consider as far as concealed carry. Now, Hawaiian shirts on their own are phenomenal, again, for concealed carry because of the fit and the pattern. Really helps hide the gun. But they're not typically the best thing to wear for the majority of the United States, because for me personally, when I see a Hawaiian shirt, I'm typically going to assume they're carrying a gun. It's just how it is. It's kind of what's been adopted. If you're wearing a Hawaiian shirt and 5'11" pants, gun owner. If you're wearing a Hawaiian shirt and Solomon shoes, you're a gun owner. If you're wearing a Hawaiian shirt and bikini bottoms, well, you're probably safe. But for the huge majority of the population of the United States, Hawaiian shirts, for me at least, I'm typically going to peg you as a gun person. So for the times that I'm not wearing blue jeans, then I'm going to be wearing some sort of gym shorts. Now, when you start wearing gym shorts or sweatpants or anything like that, you typically lose the ability to carry effectively in the appendix position, so you've got to start looking at other options. A few of the options that you've got out there is the Filster Enigma, which is phenomenal from what I've heard. I don't have one yet, but looks like a fantastic option because it doesn't rely on any belt loops. It doesn't matter what, I could be wearing it butt naked and still have it in the exact same position. So I definitely needed to get one of those to try out. Another option is going to be something like this leisure carry clip-on belt. This is a really good option as well because, again, it keeps everything consistent as far as where you're carrying. If you're carrying in the appendix position, well, even when you're wearing sweatpants or gym shorts or anything like that that doesn't have belt loops, well, you can then use this, clip it on, and use that as your belt. You can also take your typical belt that you carry with, and you can put that on around just over top of your waist, and you can use that as well. Obviously your shirt will be over top of it. Then if you don't want either of those options, then you've got some sort of off-body carry, whether it be a crossbody bag or something like a fanny pack. I typically go with a fanny pack. It's just my preferred method when I'm wearing stuff without belt loops. This is actually going to be the next episode of this series is I'm going to be breaking down my fanny pack and why you should carry in a fanny pack. Now, depending on what you combine your off-body carry with, it's going to be pretty obvious that you're carrying a gun, especially if you're carrying something like this right here. This is just for this video. I don't actually use this. Anything with Molly or anything that is tactical looking, obviously that's a big red flag that you've got a gun. But even something like this right here, it is a just plain Jane fanny pack. Looks exactly like what everybody else is carrying. I think everybody's carrying the Lululemon. This is made to look basically identical to that. So depending on what you're combining this with, it's pretty obvious that you've got a gun. For me personally, anytime I see somebody with a bag, I just assume there's a gun in there. That's just a safe way of doing it. But if there's somebody wearing, you know, gym shorts, maybe not. But if you've got a fanny pack on with 511 cargo pants and a black polo or a flannel, probably carrying a gun. Again, fanny pack and Solomon's out in public, probably carrying a gun. If you are carrying a bag and you're at the beach wearing a bathing suit, probably safe to assume they're just trying to have something to carry all of their junk in because they don't have pockets on their bathing suit. But just assume they've got a gun in it. If you see a bag, just assume there's a gun in it. That's just my general rule of thumb, but I do carry in a fanny pack because it's effective. Once things start cooling off, it's easy to conceal a gun because you can start adding layers on top of your gun. That's why hoodies, because they add an extra layer on top of the gun specifically. So that's just stacking fabric that is on top of your gun, which ultimately helps conceal it. Other good options are like your flannels, because it is added layers plus patterns, which again helps conceal your gun. So now if I'm walking around like this, it's going to be pretty easy to peg me as a gun owner. Flannel, fall raven pants, you know, the tactical hat, the Oakleys, a fanny pack when I don't really need it. Wearing something, you know, like Solomon's or these Ultima Maritime Assaults, pretty easy to peg me as a gun owner. But thankfully, for the uniqueness in my appearance, with just a couple tweaks of it, I can very easily hide the fact that I'm a gun owner simply by swapping out the Solomon's or the Maritime Assaults for a pair of barefoot boulder boots from these are limbs, or throwing on my Earth Runner sandals, taking off this hat, throwing on something, you know, a little bit brighter. Now I went from a gun owner to some Prius, Outback, Subaru coexist driving liberal hippie that likes to hike. But now you probably don't have that luxury because you based your entire identity around being a gun guy, and you're trying to be this ultimate gray man, buying all of your design stuff that is supposed to be extra gray man. You think you're discreet, but just break it down to you, I can probably out gray man you. It's just a luxury I have with my appearance. So in general, things that are going to help you conceal is going to be layers, patterns, textures, fit, and avoiding absolutely anything that is gun guyish or girlish. Things that are going to give you away in public, let everybody know that you're carrying a gun. First off is, you know, if your shirt's too tight and you're printing real bad. Other things are things like grunt style t-shirts, anything with Molly webbing, anything that accepts patches, Solomon boots, Ultima Maritime Assaults, Oakley, M frames, a fanny pack when it's not necessary. This could actually become a very long list. So I'm gonna let y'all help me out and finish this out for me. So go ahead and hop down there in the comments and put something that automatically gives somebody away as carrying a gun. But honestly, the best piece of advice I can give you, just wear a pair of overalls. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you on the next one.